Thank you for choosing a modular ramp system from Prairie Industries. Whether used for home or commercial access, the PVI modular ramp system is easily assembled and can be easily moved to a new location or changed to a new configuration. This video will show you how to assemble a complete ramp system from site preparation to the finished product. We'll also show you how to assemble a landing and a modular stair unit if your site requires either of these. To allow enough time to work on this project, please figure 1 man-hour of building time for every 4 feet of ramp. If along the way you have questions about the assembly process, please contact your PVI authorized dealer or call PVI directly at 1-800-554-7267. Assembling the ramp system requires only a few basic tools and equipment. You will need a pair of sawhorses or something similar, drill bits, 1/2 inch and 7/16 inch wrenches and/or sockets, level, and a pop rivet gun. We're on a job site to show you a PVI modular ramp that was previously installed. You'll see that little site preparation is required for your ramp. If your site requires you to build over dirt, grass, or gravel, we suggest anchoring the ramp legs to patio blocks. These materials are inexpensive and available at your local home improvement or hardware store. If your ramp will be built over an existing concrete slab or sidewalk, you'll want to anchor the legs of the ramp firmly to this for a base. If you like, you can assemble your ramp in your shop and easily move it to the job site for final installation. Unpack the ramp components and lay them near your work area. The contents of each box will be clearly marked. If you're constructing more than one ramp and landing, take care not to mix the components together. In the box marked Packing List Enclosed, you'll find an envelope as well as a list of the assembly instructions. The second page of the instructions contains a parts list. Familiarize yourself with the components, and then review the packing list to make sure you have everything before you begin construction. To begin constructing your ramp system, lay the frame rails on the sawhorses facing each other. We are demonstrating the construction of an 8-foot ramp. If your ramp is 12 feet or longer, you should attach the corresponding frame rail with splices so that the shorter rails are located nearest the end of the ramp that represents the entrance. This is for aesthetic purposes only. Install the welded plank at the first hole location at the top end of the rails. Once this plank is installed, it will represent the top of the ramp. There will not be a welded plank at the last hole location. This location is reserved for the threshold. If your ramp is longer than 12 feet, there will not be a welded plank at the splice locations. Attach the welded planks to the frame rail with 1 5/16 by 7/8 inch hex bolt and 1 flat washer on the inside of the frame rail. Attach the slide nut on the opposite side. Place 1 5/16 inch by 7/8 inch hex bolt and 1 flat washer through the hole located on the bottom side of the welded plank, again secured by a slide nut. Do not tighten, but allow room to insert the posts. Finish installing remaining welded planks. Attach the entrance threshold. Place the entrance threshold at the bottom of the ramp. Insert 1 5/16 inch by 7/8 inch hex bolt and flat washer through the hole in the entrance threshold and the corresponding hole in the welded plank. Insert a flat washer and 5/16 inch lock nut on the opposite side and tighten. Locate the entrance clip. Insert the 5/16 inch by 7/8 inch hex bolt and flat washer through the slot in the entrance clip and hole in the rail. Attach a slide nut to the bolt on the opposite side. Attach the upper T to the outside of the welded plank at the top end of the ramp. Insert 1 5/16 inch by 7/8 inch hex bolt and flat washer through the hole in the upper T and the corresponding hole in the welded plank. Insert a flat washer and 5/16 inch lock nut on the opposite side and tighten. If the ramp will sit between landings, the entrance threshold will be replaced by a welded plank at the last hole location at the bottom of the ramp with the upper T attached to it. Each post will be attached at every location where there is a welded plank. You will use 35.5-inch posts for the entire ramp except for the locations at the entrance of the ramp, which require 34-inch posts. Line up each post with the slide nuts located on the sides of the ramp. With the welded tab on the post facing to the inside of the ramp, begin to slip the first slide nut into the inside groove of the post. Continue to slide the post down until both slide nuts are inside the groove and the welded tab is resting on frame rail. Tighten the bolts only enough to prevent the post from sliding. There will be 4 standard end handrails, 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom. The size of the handrails on your ramp will depend on the length of the ramp. Start from one end of the ramp and work your way towards the opposite end. Place the handrail required for that location between the posts. Attach the handrail to the post with a handrail clips, 1/4 inch by 1 3/4 inch carriage bolts, and 1/4 inch lock nuts with the head of the bolt to the inside of the ramp. Tighten the bolt enough to prevent the handrail clips from slipping. After you have attached all the handrails, then go back and tighten down all the handrail bolts, then tighten down all the posts. To find where the legs will be attached on your ramp, check the packing list. The chart at the bottom will indicate the various leg lengths and the location for placement for each pair. With the channel of the leg facing you, insert a 5/16 inch by 7/8 inch hex bolt and flat washer into the slot and hole below it. Insert a slide nut on the opposite side. Refer back to the leg location chart. The first set of legs you will see will be located 2 feet down from the top of the ramp. Attach the legs to the post by sliding the slide nuts up the outside groove of the post. Tighten them enough so the legs don't slip. Continue these steps until all the legs are attached. At the bottom post, attach the support brackets. In the 2-inch face of the brackets, insert a 5/16 inch by 7/8 inch hex bolt and flat washer into the hole. Attach a slide nut on the opposite side. Slide the support brackets into the bottom of the 34-inch post and tighten to keep them in place. You will adjust the legs to height after you place the ramp at its required location. Fill in the open areas on the floor of the ramp with the standard planks and hold-down angles. To secure the planks to the ramp, place a 1.5 inch by 1 inch hold-down angle between the plank ends and the frame rail. Attach the hold-down angles to the plank by drilling through the hold-down angle and plank with a 1/8 inch bit. Repeat this step with all the hold-down angles. Insert a pop rivet into each hole and attach these securely with a rivet gun. Your ramp is almost complete. Before you finish the job, go back over the ramp and make sure all the bolts are tightened securely. You can now move the ramp to its required location. At the job site, adjust the legs so they sit flush on the existing concrete surface or patio blocks. Anchor the legs, making sure each leg is secure and stable. Unpack all the components and check them against the packing list to make sure all parts are accounted for. Determine whether you will be attaching the ramp to the landing in a straight line or with a 90-degree turn. Note that a threshold may be required to span the gap between the house and the landing. For optimum support, we suggest locating the legs at the beam ends. If at all possible, the beams should run parallel to the house. Place the landing on the sawhorses. Locate the holes positioned 9 1/8 inches from each corner. From the inside of the landing, insert a 5/16 inch by 7/8 inch hex bolt and flat washer. Attach a slide nut on the opposite side. Repeat this step for the second hole located directly below. Attach a 38-inch post the same way you did with the ramp. Face the tab on the post to the inside of the landing and insert the slide nut into the inside groove of the post. Lower the post until the tab rests on the frame rail. Finger tighten to avoid the post from slipping. Your landing handrail will attach in the same manner as the ramp handrail. After you have attached the handrail, tighten all the bolts for the handrails and the posts. Your curb rail will be located at the two unused openings just below the handrail. Attach by inserting a 5/16 inch by 7/8 inch hex bolt and flat washer through the slot in the curb angle and the hole in the landing. Finish with a washer and a 5/16 inch lock nut on the opposite side. Attach the legs to the landing the same way you attached the ramp legs. With the legs installed, you can now move the landing to its required location. Be sure to secure the landing with anchor bolts through the holes in the base of the legs. To attach the ramp to the landing, you will want to move the ramp to its proper location on the landing and adjust the legs to rest firmly on the concrete surface or patio blocks. Locate the ramp attachment clips provided. Line up the short slot on the clip with the first holes in the landing openings. Insert a 5/16 inch by 7/8 inch hex bolt with a flat washer in the short slot. Finish with a flat washer and a 5/16 inch lock nut on the opposite side and tighten down securely. Line up the longer slot in the attachment clip with the ramp. Drill a hole to fit a 5/16 inch bolt in this location. Insert a 5/16 inch by 7/8 inch hex bolt with a flat washer through the slot and hole. Attach a flat washer and a 5/16 inch lock nut on the opposite side and tighten down securely. Some PVI modular ramp systems feature a stair unit. The following instructions will show you how to construct a 2-step stair unit. These instructions will also apply to a 3- or 5-step stair unit. Lay out your components to make sure you have everything you need. Refer to the parts list in the instruction manual to familiarize yourself with the various parts. Place 2 lower frame rails, right and left, on the floor with the 1.5 inch face of the angles facing each other. Place 2 post tread planks in between, with a single hole on the post tread plank facing toward the back. Line up the holes with the holes in the lower frame rails. Insert a 5/16 inch by 7/8 inch hex bolt with a flat washer into each of the holes connecting the lower frame rails to the post tread plank. Finish with a lock nut on the opposite side and slightly tighten. Connect the post tread plank to the upper frame rail. Place one upper frame rail on each side of the stairs with a large notch facing towards the front of the step and the 1.5 inch lip on top facing out. Align the upper frame rail with the bottom hole facing toward the front of the post tread plank. From the inside of the stairs, insert a 5/16 inch by 7/8 inch hex bolt and flat washer into each of the holes connecting the upper frame angle to the post tread plank. Insert a slide nut on the opposite side. Now you have successfully assembled the basic stair frame. To install the 35.5-inch posts, lift the post up to the post tread plank so that the slide nuts on both sides line up. With the welded tab on the post facing the inside, slip the slide nut in the inside groove of the post. Continue sliding the post down into the other slide nut until the welded tab on the post sits directly on top of the post tread plank. Repeat the same steps with the remaining posts. You only need to tighten the top bolts on the post tread plank that connect the post to the post tread plank. Attach the hardware to these legs using the same procedures as you did on the landing and ramp. The longer legs will always go on the back 35.5-inch posts. Attach the legs to the posts by sliding the slide nuts into the outside groove of the post as shown here. Finger tighten to keep them in place. To attach the handrails, begin with the lower 1.5-inch by 3/4-inch handrail. Insert a 5/16-inch by 1.5-inch hex bolt with flat washer into the holes with a slide nut on the opposite side. With the shorter end of the handrail tube toward the bottom of the stairs, line up the slide nuts with the inside groove of the posts. Slide the lower handrail down approximately halfway. Finger tighten the slide nuts to keep it in place. Repeat this process for the remaining lower handrail. Take an upper handrail and insert a 5/16-inch by 7/8-inch hex bolt with flat washer into each hole on the brackets and place a slide nut on the opposite side. Line the slide nuts up with the top of each post, placing each slide nut in the grooves on each side of the post. Slide the handrail down until it rests on top of the posts. Tighten down all of the bolts on the handrail. Repeat this process for the remaining handrail. You have now completed the basic assembly of the stair unit. At the location on the landing where the stair unit will be placed, 42-inch posts will be utilized on the landing. The 42-inch posts will be placed on the landing in the same manner described earlier in this video. In the stair bracket, insert a 5/16-inch by 7/8-inch hex bolt with flat washer into the round hole and place a slide nut on the opposite side. This component is then installed on the lower inside face of the 42-inch posts. Slide this up and then finger tighten. Repeat this step with the remaining bracket. With the stair brackets installed, line the stair up with these brackets. Pick up the top step until the hinge on the lower frame angle on stairs line up with a slot on the 2-inch leg of the stair bracket. Insert a 5/16-inch by 1 3/4-inch hex bolt with flat washer through the hole and hinge using a flat washer and 5/16-inch lock nut on the opposite side. Repeat this process on the remaining stair bracket. Adjust to the required height. Make sure everything is level and all the bolts are all tightened. Anchor the stairs to the existing concrete surface or patio blocks through the holes provided in the base of each leg. Congratulations! You've completed construction on your new PVI modular ramp system. Please continue with the video for an important safety note. In order to use your PVI modular ramp system safely and efficiently, please note this important instruction. Prairie View Industries' modular ramp system can be constructed to meet ADA recommendations, which require a 1:12 slope ratio. Prairie View Industries recommends that you not exceed a 2:12 slope ratio for occupied chairs or scooters, or a 3:12 slope ratio for unoccupied chairs or scooters. For public access building slope requirements, please check your state codes. To calculate the ramp requirements, take the total amount of the rise and divide by the desired slope ratio to determine the required length of the ramp needed in feet. For example, if you desire a 2:12 slope ratio, divide the rise by 2, and the resulting number would be 6, which would represent the length of ramp you would need in feet. A 1:12 slope would require a ramp that is the same length as your rise. So in our example, for a 12-inch rise, you would need a 12-foot ramp. Thank you again for choosing a PVI modular ramp system. If you have further questions about the assembly or use of your ramp system, please call your PVI authorized dealer or contact a PVI technician at 1-800-554-7267.